Welcome to Mid-Century Living, your weekly nostalgia podcast about the best of technology and culture from the mid-20th century.
Welcome to episode 47 of Mid-Century Living, the show where we talk all about the best of the mid-20th century and how to add vintage vibes to your modern life. We're your hosts, Jackie
and Gonzalo. Thank you guys for joining us today. So we are going to be talking about contact lenses, all right? So before we do, Jackie, how was your week?
It was good. I'm actually really excited about this episode because I had no idea they went back this far, so yeah. I hope that our audience is as excited as I am. But
they actually go back further than you think, but we'll see.
Neat. So my week. My week was good. So September is almost over, so it is full on October prep now.
Yes.
So I mean, early September was really me just like trying to collect all the pumpkin spice things that I could possibly need for the rest of the year. And then now I can finally refocus on Halloween prep. I am, as you know, kind of spooky year round, but I do try to not really decorate until October 1st. I actually really like to have my decorations like ready to go for October 1st. I know some people start decorating in September, but I'm not one of those people.
So, but this weekend is the weekend you'll have to decorate.
So this weekend, when this episode comes out, I will hopefully have started slightly decorating or at least moved the decorations to where they need to go or like cleared off some countertops that I'm going to replace with like the regular decor with pumpkins. So like this weekend coming up when this is released is my like big decoration day. So, but right now though, we're in the past. And so all I'm doing right now is I'm in planning phase. Something I've noticed about myself is I've got the inside handled. The outside of my house is always an afterthought, and I'm determined to not make it an afterthought this year. So I've actually figured out a theme. So you're going to hate it, but you don't come to my house. My theme is spiders. I'm doing spiders.
Your theme is what?
Spiders.
Oh, no.
So I've got a big spider, but it's like it's like Target spiders. They're not creepy spiders. So like I've got this like, I bought the whole.
So it got 8 legs and 8 eyes, it's creepy.
Huh? Oh.
If it's got 8 legs and 8 eyes, it's creepy.
I got this like spider that's got long cloth legs, like that flap in the wind. So she's going right on like around my front door, and so I just kind of decided to design the whole porch around her. So at least there's that. Like there's always a house that's worse than mine, so that's good to know.
Mine. But your spider talk though reminded me that we found this random door in my building. So my school has a separate building where like a pool is, which is where I work. And we found this random door on the outside, and the district didn't have a key. And I asked the front office, and no one had a key. So then they had to make a key, like the huge work order to get a key. And I finally got a key, and I opened it, and it was very anticlimactic. It's just junk in there. But I was with another coach, and I opened the door, and I walk into this space, which is full of spider webs. And he's like, wow, there's really nothing in here except for a black widow. And I go, I'm sorry, what? And there was a black widow on the door, which I walked past to get into this place. And then I was like, well, now I can't leave. And those things are creepy.
Yeah.
They're creepy. They're the big back with like the little front, and like they have the 8 legs, and then they have the little red thingy in this. Oh, no.
I know I should be. They don't freak me out at all. I know that they're poisonous though, so that's what makes me nervous about them. Is like I can't tell the difference between the ones that are poisonous and the ones that are not. So I
just stay away from all.
Yeah, I just stay away from all of them, but they don't scare me.
So here's the thing: spiders, they don't scare me as much as they like freak me out.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's a spider, I'm not gonna like jump around unless it starts jumping towards me. Because you can see them. They are mostly 2-dimensional movers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? Now you bring a wasp into the situation, and those things can go up and down as well as left, right, and front and center. Right? And those I will scream and run away from.
Yeah.
Even if, I mean, I don't know, like a meeting with people, because that happened once with my boss, and he goes, "Really? You?" And I go, "Yes. Now kill it so I can come back."
I think the legs. I think though I think the problem is like legs don't bother me because I understand legs. What freaks me out are snakes because they don't have any legs, and the way that they move because they don't have legs really grosses. Like it's just I don't like eels and I don't like snakes. It needs legs. Everything needs legs. That's what I've got. But fish don't freak me out. They don't have legs. I don't
Then
know.
your theory,
So
your
there,
theory
never
is
mind.
flawed.
That theory isn't universal, but I
Yeah.
hear the way you feel about they have too many legs and then move creepy is the way I feel about snakes not having enough legs, and so they move creepy. And I just don't like looking at them.
I don't mind looking at a spider.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't mind images. Like, if I see an image on Google search, like, they're interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And if there's one, like, I didn't get up close and personal with Black Widow,
Sure.
but like I got down to its level because it was near the floor, and I looked at it because I also know that it wasn't going to jump at my face.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I can't get up and close to personal with a wasp because it might fly in my direction and then kill me.
Yeah. It might do that.
So yes, every animal in Texas wants to kill you. I mean, we have brown recluses
Yeah.
here, which are the scariest of spiders.
Yeah, we do. And that's the thing is like I'm not sure. I'm not close. I don't get close enough to them to figure out if it's the poisonous kind. That's the problem with.
I don't know. Well, if you had really good glasses, you could see the violin shape of the brown recluse from far away.
That is an
right?
excellent transition. Good
I
job
know. I
getting
spent a
us
second
back
on
on
that
track.
Yes. So, speaking of glasses, right? Do you wear glasses or contact lenses? I don't think you do, right?
I have readers that I wear at work because I look at a computer all day.
Ah,
And I have astigmatism, whatever that means.
something about focusing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Obviously, those of you who watched our anniversary video on YouTube or maybe follow us on Instagram know I wear glasses. But I've never wanted contact lenses just based on the idea of having to put something into my eyeball every morning. And after researching for today, I don't think I will want to wear them.
So you have included in here the inspiration for today's episode, which was an Instagram post showing contact lenses in 1948 and talk about scary pictures. Jeez.
Yes, we'll have to share these on Instagram because they are scary. It's like, oof. Jack is making a face.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So I guess being the resident history nerd, I'll take us through a little bit of pre-podcast history, right? Don't worry, I'm not talking about the Industrial Revolution this time. We're actually going to go further back in time to the Renaissance. Just for a second, literally like one sentence. Because you could theoretically trace back contact lenses to 1508, when Leonardo da Vinci sketched a way to correct vision by covering the eye with a glass of water, eventually developing it to become a water-filled dome to wear over the eye. Yeah, I didn't think you'd talk about Leonardo da Vinci in our podcast, huh?
No, I didn't. That's really cool.
So fast forward 100 years to the 1600s, and then all the way through the late 1800s. So Descartes makes an appearance in our episode, refining Da Vinci's dome into a tube that's held against the cornea rather than the entire eye. And then we have British scientist John Young, who creates a glass contact lens prototype, also filled with water. And British astronomer Sir John Herschel improves on Young's prototype. And then up until the late 1800s, the glass lens was created, but not for vision correction. It's just to protect the eye, kind of like a fancy eye patch. It wasn't until German physiologist Adolf Eugen Fick created a version of this eye patch lens that also corrected vision, that we have the contact lens. And that kind of brings us into like our time frame, because the next advancement is 1930s, when a New York optometric scientist created a plastic scleral contact lens made with glass that covered the cornea and protected the area around it. And these were easier to fit than all glass lenses. And also the first all-plastic scleral lens was developed using a new and highly superior material, polymethyl I practiced this and I still screwed up. Polymethyl methacrylate, or PMMA.
That was a lot of science words. So for you out there, we're not a technical podcast, so let me just really quickly explain those two words and then we'll be done with the technical talk. So scleral contact lenses cover the whole eye. Corneal contact lenses cover just the cornea, and the cornea is the part of the eye that covers the iris and pupil, which are the parts of the eye that lets us see. That's it. That's the science talk.
Yes, very concise. Good. Yeah, see, we're not technical, but we need to get that out there.
But then that gets us to the mid-century, so 1948 to be exact. So in 1948, California optometrist Kevin Toohey
I was thinking Tuhoy.
patented the first corneal contact lenses made up of hard rigid plastic, the PMMA material. Pathé? Is that a newspaper?
So British Pathé was a newsreel, like news around the world. So back when they used to do like the news that they would like do the reel and then ship them up to cinemas,
Okay.
that was British Pathé. You could say newsreels from the 1950s if you want to, instead of saying.
Nah, maybe more people read than I do.
British Pathé really should be an episode.
Oh, is that actually famous? Okay, then I'll just say it like I know what I'm talking about. British Pathé has recently posted a newsreel from 1948 of an optician making a hard plastic contact lens. We'll have to link it on YouTube or the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in a cheery speed typical of mid-century newsreels, we hear how they're made. The eye is anesthetized, then the doctor uses an impression cup to make a cast of the eyeball. The mold sets in a couple of minutes, and then it is removed from the eyeball. The mold is used to shape the flexible plastic that is then grinded and polished into the prescription.
That sounds miserable.
That sounds awful, but really the lens as we know it comes from the 1960s, where Czech chemist Otto Wichterl invented the breathable plastic material that led us to the modern lens.
Yes. So sorry, I made Jackie say all the hard words in this one.
It's fine. I hope it makes for good radio.
Yes, but these new lenses by Otto were much smaller than the hard plastic ones, so they sat directly on the cornea rather than on the entire eye, and could also be worn for up to 16 hours a day. This PMMA lenses had a huge appeal in the 1960s. They kept becoming more sophisticated and improved on throughout the mid-century as well. That kind of takes us to Dr. Alan Isen, who developed the first commercial soft contact lens for the USA. And actually, on October 18th, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson became the first president in the history of the USA to appear in public wearing contact lenses. But these 1950s and 1960s soft lenses were relatively expensive and fragile, which resulted in, of all things, insurance for contact lenses. So by 1965, the USA had the rights to produce these hydrogel soft lenses, and the company Bosch and Lomb started manufacturing them. And they gained the first approval for these soft lens material by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 1971. These soft lenses were soon prescribed more than the rigid ones because they were much more comfortable. And these were improved on throughout the years. In many cases, what was improved was its oxygen permeability, which made them more comfortable or wearable, meaning oxygen can travel through the lens a little bit more and keep the eye healthier. And by 1972, which is still kind of mid-century, we had disposable soft lenses.
Wow. So I guess since the last mid-century changes to these lenses, they haven't actually changed much, but they are still a huge impact today. So as of 2010, the worldwide market for contact lenses was estimated at $6.1 billion. The global market increased to $18.6 billion by 2023 and is projected to grow another 8.9% from 2024 to 2030.
That is a lot. They're very common, the lenses. They are, so there's over 140 million wearers of contact lenses around the world. Global trends show that daily wear is more popular, and the majority of wearers were female. And all this in soft lenses, of course. But rigid lenses are still in use, especially in more developing countries. The more common factors that affect who wears them are things like demographic profiles, income, and prevailing eye conditions. However, for me, it is a fact of putting a finger in my eyeball.
Yeah, I'm weird. I'm bad at that. Like, I can't put eye drops in. Like, I just blink.
I
But
can't
I
either.
think I would get over it if I actually needed to wear glasses every day, because I think I'd rather deal with touching my eye than deal with wearing glasses on my face 24/7.
Um, I don't, it's not too bad. Although the other day I wore glasses to school, and my students were like, "You wear glasses?" I go, "Yes." They go, "Do you wear contacts?" I go, "No." They go, "How do you see?" It's like I don't need to see far away. I wear glasses for like seeing far.
Mm,
Um, and I don't need to. Like my computer is 2 feet from my face.
right.
So
um, So there are many benefits to contact lenses. So more than 80% of people say they feel more attractive when wearing contact lenses, but it's more than just looking good. You might feel more self-assured and more confident. 8 in 10 people agree that they see better in contact lenses, though the majority of people still wear glasses. There have been some advances though. So, um, bifocal and multifocal contact lenses came out in 1981. These help wearers be able to wear lenses in multiple situations. In the 1990s, 1994 specifically, daily disposable contacts were introduced into the market, and these are meant to be worn for a day and then thrown out. These can help reduce eye infections, easier to maintain because you don't have to clean them, you just throw them out when you're done. And in 2001, the US approved the sale of silicone hydrogel lenses, and these allow more oxygen, making them more comfortable.
yep, and that is the contact lens through the mid-century and into today. But what is next for them, really? Moving into the future, modern research is moving towards monitoring sensors on the lenses to do things like measuring temperature and the intraocular pressure, which is something to do with the pressure of liquid in the eye. And it's that thing that's measured with a stupid air machine at the doctor's office.
Oh, the air, that's what it does. I
Yes.
was wondering what that was for.
I hate that machine because even though the doctor will say, you're about to feel a puff of air, I'm still not prepared. And I always close my eye.
Honestly, the reason why I don't wear my glasses very often is because I hate going to the eye doctor. I find the whole experience unpleasant.
I don't mind it. My only thing is like I'm indecisive. So when they do the test and they're like, "Is this one better or is this one better?" I'm like,
I don't know, do it again.
"Yeah, kind of." Can we see them side by side? But then I can't because obviously this one eye at a time. So anyway,
The whole thing's really uncomfortable.
yes. Most research is geared towards treatment and prevention of diseases and issues that contact lenses created, like contamination by foreign organisms, which like yuck. One specific research topic is how hypoxia, which is the lack of oxygen, can lead to more infection, but this can be fixed by increasing the amount of oxygen transmitted to the eye through the lens, hence the 2001 approval of the hydrogel lenses. And then also we have new types of soft lenses created with silicone hydrogel to help increase its oxygen and make it better for your eyeball. And that is the contact lens for corrective vision.
That is fascinating.
So now that we've caught up to the present, talking about the future, it is time for our etiquette segment. Jackie, what do we have today?
So, my etiquette segment has nothing to do really with contact lenses, though kind of by way of fashion. Um, so I am still kind of obsessed with that Etiquette Junior etiquette book that I brought up during the Pop Tarts episode, because honestly, these etiquette tips seem way more old fashioned than the fact that this was published in 1965, so I'm fascinated with it. So I went to the section on clothes, which might be enough etiquette for 3 episodes. So I think today I'm just going to cover like general clothing etiquette. They also have a section on clothes for boys and a section on clothes for girls that are actually long enough to be later. So this might be a 3-part etiquette segment. So get excited.
I am excited. Also, everyone just missed the little dance that Jackie did.
When we get better about reading all of our lines in one take, we should start doing with video episodes more often. But until then, no one gets to see the funny dances. So, okay. So again, Etiquette Junior was written by Mary Elizabeth Clark and Marjorie Closey Quigley in 1965, and this is Chapter 3: Clothes. That's all it's called, just clothes. Okay. Yeah, all of this is just exactly how it's written, so with some interjections, but
Okay.
I didn't really paraphrase or anything. The most important points to remember in dressing properly are that clothes should be suitable for the occasion, and each part of one's costume should agree with the other parts. Shoes, stockings, gloves, tie, dress, or suit, and hat must be in accord. Always wear the simplest thing when in doubt about what to wear. For instance, a business suit for boys and a suit or street dress for girls are always correct to wear until 6 o'clock in the evening. After that time, a tuxedo or dark suit is proper for boys, and for girls, an informal party dress or an evening dress as the occasion demands. Find out just how formal a dress or suit is to be worn by the others, and then choose your clothes for the given occasion accordingly. Never try to be the most elaborately dressed person present. Which obviously is a rule that I break every day. They also say never dress beyond your parents' means, which, again, remember that this book was written for children, so I guess the adult version of that tip would be not to dress beyond your means.
True.
They say that you really do not need a great many clothes. See what you have just are of good quality, becoming to your particular style, and suitable for the occasion where you need them. Clothes do not need to be new, but they do need to be spotless, well-pressed, and appropriate. Suitable clothing means that clothing is also comfortable, so 9/10 of self-consciousness comes from clothing that, for some reason or another, usually haste, keeps calling the owner's attention to it when he should have his whole mind on the business at hand. Which is actually very useful advice. The salvation in dressing lies in being well brushed and neat and having all the buttons sewed on and all spots removed. And she says, don't substitute American buttons, synonym, safety pins, for real repair work. Have you ever heard that phrase, American buttons? Apparently that was some sort of sassy way to say safety pins in the 60s.
I've never heard of that. But also, why American button? It's not a button.
No, I guess that's the joke, like
Americans are too dumb to use regular pins, so they had to invent one that didn't stab you.
right, or something like that. It seems
Okay.
rude. But I'd never heard it before. But anyway, we're learning
Yeah.
a lot today.
I'm making a face.
So, some general rules on shoes and stockings. Shoe heels need vigorous attention because the owner cannot see them himself, though everyone else can. So heels need to be cleaned off daily and should be repaired by a shoemaker whenever they show even the slightest sign of being run over. Shoestrings should be tied neatly and carefully. Shoe buckles and buttons should be sewn on firmly, and broken shoestrings tied together must never be worn. Eternal vigilance is the price of wearing socks and stockings. Socks must be darned. I had to Google this. That means repairing the holes.
Yeah, darning.
I've heard that phrase, but I didn't actually think about what it means. Darning your socks just means repairing the holes in your socks.
Yeah.
Why does it get its own word?
I don't know. I always said mending.
Yeah. Socks and stocking must be cleaned daily. They must not coil around one's ankles like dejected seaweed, but kept firmly in place. Very little jewelry should be worn by either a girl or a boy. A girl may wear a thin gold chain or pearls, a bracelet or simple wristwatch, a simple ring, small earrings. A boy may wear a signet or class ring, plain gold cufflinks, and a wristwatch.
Wristwatch.
Perfume must not be used to such an extent that the passerby or the person sitting next to one is aware of the odor. If perfume is used at all, it must be of the best and most expensive quality. There is no room in the world for cheap perfume. And these are their general tips on clothes for boys and girls in 1965. So what do you think?
I like not dressing beyond your means,
Yeah.
which is something that I struggle with because I want to look good.
Mhm.
And my shoes are sometimes beyond my means. Not in like a pair of shoes is too much money. It's just the quantity of shoes that I have. But what can I say? I like when people compliment my shoes, and I get a lot of that at school. So, and I also like the perfume.
Yes. But the person sitting next to you is not supposed to be aware of the odor, so if no one besides yourself can smell it, what's it for?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I took
I
from
get
that,
not wanting to walk past a group of people and everyone's heads turned because you just reek of perfume.
and that's what I took. I took away from that you're not going to be bothersome, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Like, you're not gonna walk around and then like a cloud of smell comes with you. Because I remember a kid in college who was like, we didn't have classrooms in architecture, we had just open space, and there was a guy who wore way too much cologne, uh, and I had to have a talk with him, and I was like, everybody can smell it, and it's giving people headaches. And he goes, I'd rather smell like this than smell like body odor. And I go, just take a shower.
Yeah, like, how about you?
The moral of the story here, listeners, is don't wear too much cologne. And I'm okay with that. I approve of this etiquette.
I love some of the things, like, you don't need a lot of clothes. Just make sure that the clothes you have work for all occasions and are in good shape. I break a lot of these personally. Like, I'm usually overdressed, but I think that's mainly because society as a whole these days is underdressed, and I don't want to go down to that level. I mean, I have casual outfits, and most of the time when I'm overdressed, I'm like, it's like a work day, and then I'll go somewhere after work, and I'm still wearing my fancy outfit that I wore to, like, but people do that, or I'll be, like, slightly overdressed if we're going out to dinner, but I don't think that's a me problem as much as it's a society problem.
I overdress a lot, and I mean, yes, I agree that's a society thing, because I sometimes feel overdressed at a restaurant if I'm wearing like chinos and a button down. I'm not wearing a tie and a sports coat, right? That would definitely be out of place. But like, if you're gonna go out to a restaurant and you're spending more than, like, let's say $15, $20 a plate, like, yeah, you don't need to put on white tie, but like, don't go in tank tops and flip flops.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that's the thing. I should clarify. I'm not like showing up in an evening gown to the local brew pub, but I'm gonna like wear a dress.
You're gonna put some effort into it, into looking
nice,
put looking presentable. Yeah, but, I do the same, because like at school, like I like wearing like a nice pair of pants and like a polo, right? So that I look professional, and we're supposed to dress professionally. But coaches, I don't think there's any coach apart from me who changes out of like athletic wear to like professional wear. And people make comments, and I go, I don't want to look like I just got out of the field. Like, I want to look presentable. So I agree. Yeah, I like the don't just be on your means. I like the cologne, and I caveat agree with the not being overdressed.
Yeah. The one tip I thought was really interesting was how the heels of your shoes need more attention because everyone else can see them, even if you're not looking at them.
Yes.
That is a really good point, because I do personally have a habit of like wearing shoes until they literally die.
Yes. I was thinking the same thing whenever you were saying it. I was like, I never thought about it. But yeah, when you're walking, like, people behind you can see the underside of your shoe.
I guess that's to say that I do actually like this. I just kind of think it's a little wild for 1965 that this is how strict they were on children even then. Because the 60s to me seems not... Like, this to me seems like 40s etiquette. Like, people were dressing sharp in the 60s still, but I feel like the 60s to me is when we started getting a little bit more casual. And I'm just kind of shocked that this is the level of etiquette they were trying to instill on their children back then. So, but start them young, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that this is what you're telling your kids in the 60s, because your kids are going to be adults. If they're in the 60s, your kids are going to be adults in the 70s and 80s. But I guess you can't
back then they really thought
that
that you were wearing a business suit till 6 and then you switch into your tuxedo. They really just thought that was going to be forever.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've got no problem with that.
Me neither, really. So I guess that means we should keep it?
I think we should keep it.
Cool.
Let's go ahead and give it the stamp of approval. And then with that, it looks like we have landed the plane. So thank you all for listening today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the show and tell a friend.
You can also follow us on Instagram at MCL Podcast. This is the best place to send us feedback and episode suggestions, so send us a DM anytime. You can also follow us on YouTube at MCL Podcast, same handle. And don't forget, you can also send us some fan mail through our new Send Us a Text Message option in each of our episodes. And if you send us some notes, we'll read them on the show.
Yeah, so go send us some fan mail. And thanks guys for listening. We'll talk to you again next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Mid-Century Living. Please subscribe, tell your friends, and leave a review. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram at MCL Podcast. See you next Friday.